Republique du Cameroon. There was some questions or ample evidence that you were in Chad, in the presidency of Chad. Well, some of those answers still remain vague, and we don't know, except you tell us. And if you have had an opportunity to appoint someone, obviously you should have an opportunity to tell us your story, Mr. President. I fell in love with you and I enjoy you, but I want to know, because that gives us an impression that this is exactly the story. This is your own story, because your own story is part of Ambazonia's story. It's part of the Southern Cameroon story. It's part of the nation's story, that we know that you came through this process and that you are undergoing. I know you have appointed someone the vice president. I am totally against whoever advised you. Those misled you in that advice, and I will encourage you to drop down whoever you appointed as the vice president, because he's just like La Republique vice president, because he's ineffective. You know, we are not going to be ruled by decree. We are going to be ruled by law, because law will be the fundamental value for the people of Southern Cameroon. And that law will stand for the law. United States is fundamentally vibrant because law is above everyone. No one is above the law except the law. And I intend that we, the people of Ambazonia, shall follow suit that very law, that we shall be governed by law. The post of a president and the post of vice president shall not be appointed by decree, shall be elected by the people. Your ministerial positions, you can appoint them, but when you appoint them, they have to be confirmed by the upper house of Senate of Ambazonia chamber. Your ambassadors, all those will have to be appointed, will have to be confirmed by the upper house of chamber. The Southern Cameroon Congress shall be the lawmaking body of the Southern Cameroon. The Southern Cameroon Ambazonia Congress shall be the lawmaking body of the Southern Cameroon. The Southern Cameroon Judiciary or the Supreme Court shall interpret those laws that are written and passed into law by the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia Congress. Those laws shall be promulgated by the executive. So that will create what is known as the check and balancing. I shall be dwelling more about the law of the people of Southern Cameroon and Ambazonia. Back to your position, Mr. President, and Mr. President of Ambazonia. I feel the pain that you're going through by your capital. But unfortunately, the thought, including the French government that support your captivity, the French government thought that by capturing you, and they know the vibrance that you are, after crisscross through France, Germany, UK, and United States, they felt a threat that by capturing you, they can capture the people of Ambazonia. But they failed to understand that once you capture the general, the assistant in command takes over and maintain the same fundamental policy and ensure that the people of Southern Cameroon independence shall overcome. Now that you have the opportunity to appoint someone, I believe it's an opportunity for you to tell Ambazonia your story, because your story is part of our story, part of the citizen Southern Cameroon story. How will you capture? There are people that surround you, and those people are misleading you. They're misleading you in the fact that they usually have an avenue where they can generate resources for their self-interest or their egoistic mind. They thought by capturing you, or they sold you out to La Republique and the French government under the complicity of the French ambassador, will create an avenue for them to inherit the position they thought. But unfortunately, it did not go their way they thought. And so they didn't achieve their goal. If I were them, I would have kept silent and walked. But unfortunately, they create another form. In this form, they call the scoop. The purpose of scoop was to succeed, since they didn't initially get into the position they wanted, that they would succeed you immediately and proceed with whatever they have thought. But unfortunately, it didn't go their way. And so they created a scoop as an alternate route to their own personal interests. But unfortunately, it's not still going that way. But I urge you, Mr. President, the post that the person you appointed is not different from the person who is in La Republique, just like La Republique have a prime minister. A prime minister is usually head of government. So in the case of the president, the head of government must take over. The head of government must take over. In this case, in La Republique, is the Senate member of La Republique that has nothing to do with the day-to-day running of the government. So that is exactly the tools that are being used by La Republique, because they don't know what the law is. They don't apply the law, neither do they respect the law. But are looking for their means to serve glorifications. Dear Mr. President, I urge you to tell us your story, because if you can appoint someone, you obviously have the point to tell us your story, because many Southern Cameroon, people like me and the rest, would like to know your story. What happened to you? When you were picked up, how were you transported? Were you transported by air? Obviously, one will ask that, obviously, you were transported by air. Who? Was it a private jet? Was it a freight jet? Was it a military jet? And what means? How? Many people need to know about this fact. So I urge you, I understand the pain. You might feel like I don't have the pain that you're going through. I cherish your pain. But I will urge that you tell us your story, because if you can appoint someone, then obviously you should be able to tell us your story. Because your story is part of the Southern Ambazonian story. I know people might think that I don't feel, but I do. I believe in Southern Cameroon. I know many people don't know me much about. They know me as a broadcast. They know me how I speak. But one thing they don't know about me, I am the visage. I thought I introduced that we must have an interim government. And I cite example. And many people did not believe that an interim government. By then we have what they call SCACUP. SCACUP was initially what we have in Ambazonia. But I thought we should have a form of an interim government, which I advocate for 3 forms of government. The Ambazonian interim government, the Ambazonia Virtual Assembly or Virtual Congress, the Ambazonia Supreme Court, or the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. These 3 branches of government must be put in place. And that is what I advocate. But people minimize it. And that is where we come to this point. And this should have immediately said, Mr. President, this is not what we're supposed to do. But people are taking advantage of you and to exploit you for their own self-glorifications. While you are in jail, they are roaming around the street, and they knew fully well how you were picked up. They sold you out. But now, I'm not here to heal the wounds. I'm here to let you know that now that we know who they are, how can we move forward? First, the person whom you just placed, I'm sure that person is just a figurehead. And I am so embarrassed why he's still, I think, respect the people of Ambazonia. Respect. We must stand as a one unified people. Unified people, we can work collaboratively, and La Republique will be something of history, something of the past. I know many people like the SDF. Those, I don't think we should talk about the SDF, because it's something that has nothing to do with Ambazonia. They are redundant. He's still part of the system. And we is a sovereign nation. The world community is looking upon us. It is a time that we are more disintegrated. We should have taken advantage of the opportunity. The world community is looking upon us and willing to work with us. It is the moment that we are more disintegrated, more not unify, nor have a sound and coherent voice and sense of directions. I believe that I ask you to abolish whatever you appointed if you listen. I know this message will reach you and you will listen it. I urge you to immediately and abolish that because it doesn't value. He himself is not. I know he's being projected, but I urge him to stay aside and respect the people of Ambazonia. That is not how we're going to be governed. We're going to be governed by the rule of law, and that law must supersede the Ambazonian people. This is Funton Daniel speaking here, and advice for all of us. Stay tuned, and I will be talking more. Good night.